Welcome to the latest in this series. We're thrilled to be doing this with the Harris School, and we're thrilled to have Jessica, who's going to be a lot more fun than the monetary economists and, and I think next month we're having a 2-star admiral, so this should be a lot more fun. I'm gonna pass the baton to Damien to introduce Jessica because they're good friends. So I just wanted to say one thing about Damien, which is every time I introduce one of these talks, I always say, come by the Paulson Institute and our door is open. And for students especially, when I say our door is open, I really mean especially that Damien's door is open, because if you had a door. So this is a guy you should know, because he does a lot of the contact that we have with students, but also because it's not just because I've worked with him in a couple of incarnations. He's someone you should know because I think he's just about the best China expert of his generation of China experts. So that kind of 30-something generation, and is the author of one of, I think, the 2 or 3 best books on China that's come out in the last couple of years, called In Line Behind a Billion People. So also has a great title. So buy the book, come push open Damien's door, and come work with the Paulson Institute. And with that, I'm going to let Damien do the introduction this time instead of me. Over to you.
Great. Well, thank you for that generous introduction, Evan. So I was thinking back about the last year of our talks here. It's been a lot about, U.S.-China geopolitics, big economic challenges, really big things that define the bilateral relationship. But what we haven't talked about, I think, is the other side of the U.S.-China relationship, which I think is just as important, which is really the bottom-up, the people-to-people relationships, people-to-people connections and diplomacy that really happens on a regular basis, often below the radar, and don't get the kind of headlines that we tend to see in the news, and is filled with young people with creative ideas, entrepreneurs who are doing really interesting things in both countries. And our guest today, Jessica, I think really is at the forefront of doing these really interesting creative entrepreneurial things. She kind of is at the nexus of both online education, people-to-people diplomacy, and really establishing connections to a young generation of Chinese who are really experiencing U.S. for the first time. And I know that some of you here are actually already fans of her TV show and actually her web show. And I knew Jessica several years ago back in D.C. when I profiled her briefly for The Atlantic, before she has, was it 1 billion interactions on Sina Weibo? I like to think I helped a little bit in getting to that 1 billion number, but I don't want to take too much time away from Jessica, who has a very lively, interactive presentation. So without further ado, I give you Jessica Beinecke.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. My mic's on, so that's for you. 大家好. I can see there are a lot of OMG Meiyu fans maybe in the audience. 谁是 OMG Meiyu 粉丝? We got a couple? Okay, great. My name's Jessica Beinecke. I might take a seat. No, I'm going to stand. And I am the producer and host of OMG Meiyu, which teaches American English and conversational phrases to our Chinese audience on Chinese social media. We also, my small production company also produces Crazy Fresh Chinese. And it's for Americans or English speakers who really want to learn Chinese. And it's also for sparking that interest in learning Chinese in American high schools and colleges, mostly undergrad. So before I tell you about my story and how you can start your own blog, to tell you how I do it so you all can kind of work on your passion and write your own blogs, I'd love to just walk you through the process that I have been taking for the past 3 years in creating a blog and helping empower you all to do the same, so that those people-to-people exchanges are the ones making headlines instead. Before we get there, I'd love you to check out my content because I think it speaks for itself, and show you some cross-cultural people-to-people exchange we did in the summer. My favorite part of this video is the group from Ohio, high schoolers using Chinese to ask questions to Chinese students. I visited Beijing and Hunan this summer, and I took their questions to the kids in China and they answered in English. So it was a really wonderful project where we got some fun interactions, people-to-people exchanges going on there. So if we could check out the video and we'll keep on talking. Thanks. Hey, what's up? I'm Beinecke. I'm sure you've all made this face before. So how do you say duck face in Chinese? Du du zui. Du du zui. Du du zui. Du du. If something is like du du, it's sticking out. Du du. Your zui is your mouth. It's like you're putting a Z in front of the word way. Zui. Stick out mouth. Du du zui. Du du zui. So like when you're taking a selfie, you could say, all right, everybody duck face. 好啊，大家一起来嘟嘟嘴，大家一起来嘟嘟嘴。Did you learn it? Prove it. Send me a 嘟嘟嘴 picture at Crazy Fresh China. Okay, bye. 冻死了，冻死了，冻死了。How do you use that? I'm freezing. 我冻死了，我冻死了。Did you learn it? Prove it. Make a vine and tell me where you live and if it's 冻死了 where you live. Okay, bye. How do you order a medium soy latte in Chinese? So they'll ask you, 你要什么? What do you want? And you'll say, 中杯 medium, 倒奶 soy, 拿铁 latte. You guys, I'm obsessed with this song. Why you gotta be so rude? Gonna marry you anyway. Marry that girl. So how do you sing, why you gotta be so rude in Chinese? 你为什么这么粗鲁? 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 你 you 为什么 why 这么 so 粗鲁 rude 你为什么这么粗鲁? How do you say flip-flops in Chinese? 人字拖人字拖人字拖人字拖 Flip-flops kind of look like the character for 人 person, right? Do you see it? I see it. 人 人字 means the character for 人 拖鞋 is like a sandal. 人字拖 is this type of sandal, flip-flops. 人字拖 I love your flip-flops. 我非常喜欢你的人字拖。我非常喜欢你的人字拖。欢迎来到语音，这是我最喜欢的中文词。What's your favorite Chinese word? 时尚达人 Fashionista. Hey, what's your favorite Chinese word? Bar. Bar, what does that mean? Swag. That's what I got, y'all. Oh, nice. 你好。
你好，
你最喜欢的中文词是什么？
我喜欢太牛了。
这是什么意思？
就是 awesome.
Why is that your favorite word?
I like it because you can call anything a cow and it's still cool.
Oh, nice. What's your favorite Chinese word? 独角兽. What does that mean? Unicorn. Unicorn. 你最喜欢的中文词是什么？
没有。
没有. What is that? Which
don't have.
Don't have. Why is that your favorite?
因为我没有正在吃没有，因为我没有。
My mind just exploded. Favorite Chinese word?
我爱龙.
What does that mean?
I love wool.
I'm here to present the coolest moment of my life where I got to ask Will I Am of the Black Eyed Peas? What? How he picked his Chinese name. It's cool. I can die now. It's fine. Tell me your Chinese name.
My name is Wei Lian.
That's an awesome name. Do you remember what it means?
Yes, it means a future eye of the future.
Awesome. Why did you pick that Chinese name?
I was geeking out on the internet once, and I typed in future inside Google Translate, and I hit translate, and then I asked it to speak it back to me. And when you type in future in Google Translate, what comes out is will I.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go.
And then I was like, well, what is an or am? And then it's I.
Okay, hands down, one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. Like, I still can't believe that happened. I just visited students learning Chinese in Ohio. What's up, good Hannah Lincoln High School? And students learning English in Beijing and Hunan. 拉妹子啦，拉妹子啦. I took some selfie-style videos of American students using Chinese to ask Chinese students questions. I showed those questions to Chinese students who answered the Americans' Chinese questions in English. It's like the most cross-cultural thing you've ever seen in your life. 李美英，你想问中国学生什么问题？
你最喜欢英文词是什么？
Oh, what is your favorite English word? Do you have a favorite English word?
Maybe duck.
Duck? Caddy, what's your favorite English word?
My English word actually is not an English word. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata.
Can we sing it together?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing grace.
It means no worries for the rest of your days.
It's not problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. Thank you.
你好，
你好。
你叫什么名字？
我哈宾。
我哈宾。
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Yo, dude, what's up?
What's up, man?
Alright.
What's your name?
My name is Michael Lee.
你想问中国学生什么问题？
我喜欢 beatbox 吗？
你喜欢 beatbox 吗？ What's your favorite English word?
For me is hip hop.
Can you beatbox?
I have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Hip hop is still popular in China, and I like rugby and I like beatbox.
Oh my god! All right, those are our great students. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I hope you enjoyed that. The beatbox scene was totally unprompted. Both students just really loved to beatbox, and I thought it was really an impactful moment to show a kid in Ohio and a kid in Beijing are just really into beatboxing. I am speaking with you today because our programming has made an impact in China and in America. To date, the programming has generated more than 400,000 social media followers and, as Damien said, recently 1 billion social media interactions. We've been featured in Wall Street Journal this year and Bloomberg Business Week. None of that was my plan at all. Graduating high school in small town Ohio, Sina Weibo didn't exist, iPhones didn't exist. I was just a band nerd. You know, I was really into marching band. If you've seen the show Glee, then you know all about my high school. We had football teams and cheerleaders and Glee Club, and we had a 300-member marching band. So it was really my passion. Number one was music. I even had a calendar that counted down to the first day of band camp. So, but when I decided to go to college, my very best friend from college, Evan Lilly, is here. Hi, Evan. Hi, Evan. And he knows that when I went to college that I decided to major in journalism. So I left music behind and I joined up with like 100 different clubs. Philosophy club I joined and I hated it. Boxing club I joined and I broke both of my middle fingers, which made going to the salad bar really fun. I was like, help me make a salad. And but the one hobby that really stuck in college was Chinese, the class that really made the biggest impact for me because I'd heard that it's a very musical language. The tones can dictate what the word means. And to me, as a 19-year-old in Ohio, I thought that was really wonderful. It was a new way to fill that void in my heart where music was. And as soon as I signed up for my first class, I was hooked. I was fascinated that ma, and ma are 4 different words, and I can call you my mom or a horse. And what really solidified my passion, though, for Chinese was my teacher, Zhu Laoshi, Zhu Bo. She was from Beijing, and her passion for Chinese language and Chinese culture really turned into our passions as well. So I asked Zhu Laoshi, how can I continue learning Chinese in the summer? And she said, every time she says my name, she starts with a, Baijie. To this day, Baijie, just follow me to Middlebury. Because she taught second level Middlebury College Summer Language School, which is top notch. They do the best work with helping kids learn Chinese. So I didn't know what that was. So I was like, okay. And I signed up on the last day I possibly could, and I got in. When you get to Middlebury, you sign your name and you pledge that you will only speak the language you're learning for the next 9 weeks, which feels like a really long time when you're a 19-year-old. And as soon as I got to class, I was coming from a state school to Middlebury, and I was not level 2. I was in level 2 classes, but I was failing all my Tingxies. I was really, Zhu Laoshi pulls me aside at lunch, Baijie, you're failing all your Tingxies. And I said, Zhu Laoshi, I'm really not ready. Maybe I should go down a level. She said, you're my student. I will lose face if you got down a level. So she would take me after all morning classes and after lunch in a private session and make sure that I learned the grammar structures and the vocabulary that all my other, 同学们 knew. I'm starting to like think in Chinese now, seeing all you guys. And she got me to a level in Chinese faster than anybody else could have, because she put time in to a very passionate yet slightly unprepared student. So I owe a lot to her, the work ethic that she taught me, as well as all the Chinese that she taught me. So that was my kind of journey to Chinese. I get that question a lot, and I like to clear that up. And I really started to connect with Chinese language conversationally when I got to study abroad in Beijing and Hangzhou. I lived with roommates who were my age, so 19, 20-year-old students in Beijing and Hangzhou. It was the first time I got to see modern China through the eyes of my peers. They got to show me where they like to get snacks. They got to show me who they have a crush on. And we all talked about it in Chinese. And we would go sing KTV every weekend. 什么时候要去唱K, And my Beijing roommate loved to sing this one song. It's pretty old now, but she would sing every time. The 天天我需要你爱我的是你 that one, 潘玮柏. And my Hangzhou roommate was a little quirkier. She watched Titanic every weekend without fail on her computer. Oh yeah, I know that movie by heart. And every time we went to sing KTV, she would sing near, far, wherever you are. She had a very low voice. But their passion for their culture and their language, and their passion for sharing it with me, years down the road, inspired me to create these video blogs. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I graduated in 2008. Not the best time to graduate undergrad. Economic issues. And also, the Beijing Olympics had just ended. So the whole cultural structure for bringing a foreigner over to fill a job spot had definitely shifted. So I did a lot of random things again. I applied for grad school. I ran a half marathon. I learned a bunch of songs on the ukulele. And then I got a phone call like, hello, Jessica, can you come fill this job next week in Washington, D.C.? And my dreams shattered, because I really, as soon as I came back from Beijing, I wanted to make sure I found a way to go back. So it's not what I'd planned. And the weekend after President Obama's first inauguration, I moved to DC during an ice storm, so that was fun. And I became a contractor for the China branch of Voice of America, and I was translating transcripts. Day 3 on the job, my manager at the time approached me and asked if I would like to be on camera in Chinese. I politely, reminded him, I was not a broadcast major. I was PR. I don't know. I've never been on camera in English, let alone Chinese. I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, don't worry, you'll learn on the job, figure it out. So 3 months into the first job, I was assigned to my first dream project, which was a travel show that is hosted in Chinese and teaches the English differences between Americans and between the US and the UK. So my first on-camera experience was a stand-up, and behind me is Buckingham Palace, and it's Easter. A lot of people go to Buckingham Palace on Easter, and they were all kind of looking at me like, what is she saying? Everybody in Europe speaks 2-3 languages, it's not a big deal, and they're trying to identify what is she saying. They didn't know I was speaking bad Chinese. And I was so nervous to start. It's London, so it's raining, and that was the first time I realized I really needed to dig deep, remember what Zhu Laoshi taught me about learning the basics, keeping my head down until I know what I'm doing, and just work hard until I achieve that. So we had a very successful program. We did 10 more all around America, teaching about English and showing American culture and things like that. And in 2011, we discovered, the emerging Sina Weibo. Who's on Weibo? Lots of people, Weibo. I know you're all on WeChat now, Weixin. So Sina Weibo, summer of 2011 was really heating up. And Voice of America traditionally makes really great English language programming for people all over the world. And I pitched my next dream project, which was learning English online on Sina Weibo for our Chinese audience on there, which was a risk. And I'm very impressed that Voice of America decided, okay, we'll take a risk. We'll put this new programming up that we've never done before. It's never been on Chinese social media, and it's never been done on a daily basis. And we're counting on you to do this every single day. So I started to produce a daily 3-minute video that taught a set of English slang terms. I took a chance. The first couple weeks of the blog, and we taught a set of phrases in an episode called Yucky Gunk. In Chinese, it's 各种屎, so it's like 眼屎, 鼻屎, 耳屎, eye gunk, ear gunk, boogers, things like that. And it exploded, it went viral. Of course, that's the one where I'm talking about all that stuff. The one that blows up is that one. And in the first month and a half of being on Sina Weibo, we got 100,000 followers. That episode alone had more than 1 million views, and it really started to take off. So starting from OU, where my passion was Chinese, and following that into my first job led me to working hard in sort of the content creation, finding my next new passion for content, for entertainment, for education, and for community building. The great thing about OMG Meiyu, and the reason why we've established this level of wonderful trust among our Chinese followers on there, is that every day we ask them what they want to learn. We ask them a question. We want to know what they think. We want to make this a conversation, not just an episode. So there's just been this wonderful community built online as well. So Sina Weibo really helped us do that. In the meantime, I'm creating a little company. I have to become a businesswoman. And I have a production company called J and Beinecke Inc. And this January we launched Crazy Fresh Chinese. Having a passion for learning Chinese, I wanted more Americans to have the same passion. So every day on Crazy Fresh Chinese, since January 1 this year, we've been teaching one Chinese slang term, which is mostly what you saw today. And we've been all over the country, Los Angeles, not Chicago yet, I should stay longer, all of the East Coast and Ohio. And we've done a lot of classroom presentations, and at the end of each episode, we also ask to show a Vine, an Instagram video, or a very short application video that's even shorter. When we started OMG Meiyu, it was 3 minutes long. Now it's only 1.5 minutes. Crazy Fresh Chinese is 30 seconds long, and Vines and Instagram videos are 15 to 7 seconds. So I'm gonna have to just say ni hao, and then that's gonna be the episode in 2 years. But the journey of figuring out what's the content gonna be, what's the format going to be? How are we going to engage with the community, and how are we going to get the message out has been an evolving challenge and an opportunity to really build a fun production company that focuses on web content, cross-cultural educational web content. So what I wanted to do with you all today is have you think about what your passion is. If you were doing a blog, doesn't have to be a video blog, but they're fun. If you were writing a blog, if you're doing a photo blog, if you were making a Tumblr, an Instagram account, anything like that, what would you talk about? How would you do it? So I wanted to present today. I've never really done this before at a university. I want to show you how I do what I do so that you are able to do the same. And as you're watching this, I want you to think about how you would do it. And if anyone who raises their hand and presents what they would do with their blog will win a Crazy Fresh Chinese t-shirt. I brought some swag. We got some t-shirts and we have some buttons. So that'll incentivize it. And I really look forward to keeping in touch with people who really do want to start their own blogs, because you all have wonderful expertise and you're so intelligent, you're so brilliant. I talk about slang, but you might want to talk about the environment. You might want to talk about economics, or you might want to talk about coffee. Like, you could talk about living in China, living in the US as a Chinese person, anything that you'd want to do. So you want to start a blog. I want to deconstruct how I put a blog together. The format of Crazy Fresh Chinese is this. There's the opener, there's the how do you say this in Chinese, and then you hear that bang, 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 and that establishes the visual with the language. And then there's the example, and it's over in 30 seconds. That's the format. And it's a format that doesn't change unless we're doing it in an interview show, and that's all selfie style, and it's very fun and interactive. I make it very fast. I try to get the message across as fast as possible. I'm sure you've seen videos on YouTube before where they're 10 minutes long, and you look at that 10 minutes and you're like, nope, not watching that. So you've got to make sure what you're saying, it's in a condensed format, you're getting the message across very quickly, but it's still entertaining and engaging. Be cowpool, which means be dependable. You know, if you post a video blog on Monday at 9 a.m., you better do that every Monday at 9 a.m. because people will start paying attention every Monday at 9 a.m. where they'll think, oh my gosh, Crazy Fresh Chinese which went up, I must have missed it. And they go back, they remember, it makes an impression on your followers. So that's what I mean by be cowpool. And it's not about you. I'm an only child. Do I like attention? Sure. But every episode isn't about what I ate for breakfast and the shoes I want to buy tomorrow. It's about engaging with an audience that wants to learn a language, that wants to learn a new culture, and it's about empowering that audience. So think about how you can do the same. And your opinion could be involved in that if that's what you would like your format to be, but just think about making it about the people who are watching it. What do they get out of what they're watching? So you want a job? We all want jobs. But what are you doing? There's a perk to blogging before you have an internship, before you have a job, and it builds your portfolio. You could be a poli-sci major, you could be an econ major. What are the majors in the room right now? What's your major? What's that? International studies, public policy, things like that. To build your portfolio before an internship and before a job, you can start a blog. You can find what you're interested in specifically in your field and start building content on what you've studied and sort of show how you have taken initiative to offer this information to others and to show that you're a leader in that field, right? So that helps you become an expert. That helps you become, oh, she makes a blog on slang, therefore she's an expert on slang in China, right? There's no other prerequisite of what makes me know slang more than another person or how to say things, but I made sure I had the skills to make a blog, and that's what I identified as my passion, is people-to-people exchange and communication. So it could be about anything that you're also passionate about. And the new skills that you need to learn, I didn't know Final Cut Pro before I started this blog. I learned video editing on my own, and social media management and things like that. You know, being engaging in another language on video is also a skill I needed to acquire. Conversational and then that level of Chinese, it was a long, very painful process. And then establishing your brand, it kind of identifies you as somebody who knows this topic. And then that's your passion. Do it now, don't wait. This is how you can take charge and establish yourself as somewhat of an expert or someone who understands it to the point where you've made a blog about it. So I'd like you to take a look at these questions. What's your passion? What do you hope to, if you were to create a blog? I made a little a fun example of what a blogger, Caffeinated Lao Wai, would write about if they like to talk about coffee in China, which I might do someday. So think about, take a second, and think about a blog you would want, and if anybody's ready first, then you will get a t-shirt. T-shirts ready. T-shirts are ready to go. I think we have about 5 or 6 in there. Take your time. I could set a timer. Okay, oh, we got a brave soul in the back. What's your idea? If you could stand up, 站起来. Ha.
I guess I could say passion is just learning different languages.
Oh, she's got.
I guess I could say my passion would be learning different languages. So I could start a blog that would help people choose a language other than their native language to start learning. So it could be text or maybe video. So it could be like Blogspot, Tumblr, or YouTube or something like that. I would have to study, like for skills, I'd have to study more languages. like right now I only know Chinese. It could help you get that done, right? Yeah.
To be honest, good.
Yeah, so I would learn more, and then going through my process of exploring new languages, I could use that to help other people find a language they want to learn. And it could be weekly, and I could engage with people by asking them what languages they want to learn. And I don't know a name though.
You don't know a name? Names are important.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it. But very good. Good job. Great blog idea. Any other ideas? Damien, if you wrote a blog, what would it be about? A new one?
Yeah, I sort of had one.
In a book and things like that.
Not.
But you have other passions for other things, right?
Do I? I actually like the coffee. Yeah, I like food a lot, and I think there's a lot of interesting things to write about on Chinese food versus on American food. I've always thought there was actually a lot of similarities between Mexican food and Chinese food, like real Mexican food and Chinese food. You know,
really?
Rice. The pork is kind of the same.
I would totally read that.
2 cultures that love cilantro more than other cultures.
Also true.
And the burrito thing, you know, like the Chinese get the burrito thing. So
right, they totally get it.
You know, or like like a food truck thing.
Food trucks,
yeah. You know, how would you start a food truck in Beijing? That kind of stuff. So
I would totally read that blog. Did you have a hand up?
But I don't have it.
Awesome. Thanks, Damien.
Can I get a t-shirt?
You get a t-shirt. Good job, Damien.
I want a t-shirt too.
Okay.
Okay, so I think my passion is more about like literature, since it's very different. Literature in English, literature in Chinese, and it's also like. And sometimes it's just very hard. Even you know that language, it's very hard to get that feeling of the same feeling when you read the literature fictions in your own native language. So I think I'm not sure how I would want to run it, but I think like that's some topic I definitely want to like dig into it.
That'd be wonderful. Right.
Thank you.
You can make it a weekly comparison blog or something like that. Good job.
Thank you.
We've got another idea in the back. You can pass the mic back.
My name is Azana, and my passion is like running and exercising. So I said I would like to start a blog about like, I think, running and exercising.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a video blog because you get to see the motion, and like I like things slow motion when you show them in slow motion. I'm not really on social media, but if I were to do anything, it would probably be Vine, because Vine engages you just in and out.
That's a good point.
Post schedule, it would be a weekly thing, because if you're an athlete, then you do it. It's a routine. You never stop. Engaging my followers, I just think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to learn about like other people's workout schedule in different countries. I said my blog name would be Can You Paobu?
Can you Paobu? I love that. Maybe when you study abroad, you can blog about your favorite running routes in China. Okay. I would love to have a blog like that, because I never know where to run. Anybody else have any fun? We got an idea in the back.
Yeah, my name is Jay, and actually I'm running. Yeah, all right. My name is Jay, and actually I'm running a social media platform on WeChat.
Yeah.
You know that the WeChat public account, I guess. Maybe some of the foreigner friends don't know that, but actually it's pretty popular in China. And actually my passion is in social enterprise, and I have a company called We Do Care. And the main idea is using a crowdfunding platform to get some money for the Peking University's students when they initiate some kind of social project, and we just funding them to do their project.
So why did you start the WeChat? How is that helping your platform?
Actually, I use this donate as you spend idea to build my crowdfunding platform, and I used I post the project, what we do and what we have done every single Tuesday, and we just update the buyers what we are doing and how we are doing, so that it's become more opaque, and that they know what's going on and where their money going. So
yeah, WeChat is the #1 social media platform right now, right? Everybody's on WeChat, on Weixin.
Yep.
Very cool. Thank you. That's a great idea.
Right now. Yeah.
Cool. He's already got a blog. Do you have we have a blog idea you want?
Not exactly. I have a thought and a question for you.
Okay.
But the thought is just that, you know, we all know there's so much cross-cultural misunderstanding between China and the United States, and it seems like this, you know, all the students who are here are in a position of power where they can help, you know, people in China understand more clearly what's really going on in the States. And so I wonder what your thoughts are about how welcome blogs about that kind of stuff would be in China, and whether you have advice for the, you know, people in the audience about how they might address those issues. You know, you guys all know what America's really like, for better and worse, and you know there's a lot of misunderstanding, and so you're in a position where you can actually make some positive contributions.
We had a really great idea from a student yesterday with 100,000 Strong. She wanted to make a blog called "Help, I'm Living in China," and it's inspired by an experience she had. She got locked out of her host mom's house, and she didn't know how to call a locksmith, and she didn't even know how to say locksmith. So she wanted to create a blog that helps the day-to-day life of a non-Chinese person living in a Chinese city. And I'm sure a blog that helps others, vice versa, living in Chicago, coming from Ningbo or Hangzhou or anywhere, say like, this is where, this is how you can function, this is where you should go in Chicago to kind of to solve the daily problems that you have. And related to that, Crazy Fresh Chinese and OMG Meiyu have addressed that. They've struck a chord and they've established that trust with a young audience because we're talking about things that they want to know how to say, because their environment, their people-to-people environment, is something that they want to improve. They want to make friends who aren't Chinese, and we want to make friends who are Chinese. And the way to do that is to be able to communicate. It's essential. And the education of that is my passion and sort of my goal. And you can apply the passion for running, the passion for business, the passion for literature to that goal. You know what I mean? So I think if you do it and you're earnest about it and you're kaupu, and you make an effort to be interactive and to create a community around that, I don't think there's any problem at all. We have a blog or or we can open up to questions too if you'd like. Let's open it up and we can talk about anything.
So I'm a chemistry major here. I'm actually doing a PhD now. I have a lot of passions. So speaking like skiing and running, I do love them, but I think there are a lot of very good blogs already, like Runner's World is a journal. Also, there's a lot of skiing websites on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So probably I won't do that because there's nothing unique I could provide. Maybe I will do something else that's unique to me, like
right.
Like I love like photography, but there are very good photography websites and blogs. I may provide something unique, like in Chicago, I do like daily photography, like what people do, what people wear every day. It's a fashion in Chicago, or people could see what's going on here from China, right? I would like my audience would be facing the Chinese audience.
It's a good point. And anyone planning to come to Chicago, like what kind of clothes should I bring, right? Like what kind of coat do I need?
Yeah,
you're gonna need a big one.
Mm-hmm. Like right.
Exactly. And I think that's a good point. Plenty of people have done English teaching or language teaching, but I do it my way, and you do that your way, and she does the running blog her way, and we all it's adding that personal touch to it that can really make a difference and start to take hold of that platform. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think that's just one aspect.
Chicago style. What would you call it? 芝加哥.
Yeah, 芝加哥. Yes.
Well, so, is there a Chinese? Well, you wouldn't call it.
I mean the name.
Like the name in Chinese. What do you think you call it?
In Chinese, there will be like the same pronunciation, maybe different characters. Like
okay, very cool.
There's a word called 阁. It's like a small attic, something like that.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
So you do like 知道的知 for Chicago, so no Chicago.
Yeah, no Chicago. That's right.
Very cute. I like it.
Yeah.
Good job. Great ideas, guys. Very, very cool. Very cool. Happy to open it up to questions now, or do you have a blog?
Can I ask a question? I don't have a blog.
No blogs.
I got a question. There's an establishment in China, educational establishment, political establishment, economic establishment, that would love, I am sure, to connect with young people in China the way you connect with young people in China. But you're American. And what's more, so you've got a situation in which you have a generational divide, plus you have this international divide, where I think for a lot of the establishment people that find it hard to connect with youth in China, those are many of the same people who are also quite mistrustful of Americans. So I'm wondering first how those sorts of people react to you, if at all. Second, do they see what you're doing as challenging to them in some way? I don't mean in a political sense, because you're teaching language, it's educational exchange, it's people-to-people interaction, but it's still very powerful as a tool. And you have a fan base in China that people would be dying to have. So I'm just curious, when you get away from your fan base and you get other constituencies in China, how did they react to you?
That's a great question. I could not speak to how an upper level group in China sees OMG Meiyu. I'm not sure. Maybe they've seen it. I've not interacted with those individuals. Our side of the pond loves it. We showed it at the State Department last year, and it was a part of the people-to-people exchange event with Secretary Kerry and with the female Liu Yandong. And that was great because they were bringing together, the theme of that was innovation and education. So it kind of fit right there in that space. How they view it, I think, and the power of the platform that you speak of, I appreciate. The power there, again, is I've always made it about the follower, and it kind of comes from what they want to talk about. All I post really is the conversation starter. Today you're learning about how to say, well, "I'm freezing," and then I ask, questions relating to that at the end. Where do you live? Is it 冻死了 where you live, right? Or I'll say that in Chinese, and the comments will flow in. The conversation that comes from that is all based on culture. It's based on communication, and it's based on interactions. And I think it is effective because TV shows like Two Broke Girls and things like that are really popular in China. The characters don't stop and explain, a phrase like, here's what "go ham" means, like they don't do that. But when you're interacting with somebody and you're constantly saying, "I'm sorry, I don't understand, I'm sorry, I don't understand," that's also awkward. So this is it's an intersection between a TV show and a yi conversation. Man, my Chinese is coming out today. I think it's that really perfect intersection that makes you feel like you're having a conversation, but it's in the privacy of your cell phone or it's on the computer, and that's the feel from it. If that's powerful, I'm glad, because that means we're just helping people learn how to communicate with each other. Everything we talk about is based on what young people care about. And I'm, as an American, am able to talk about that with hundreds of thousands of young Chinese people, because what we care about on a day-to-day basis in our sort of daily life culture is so similar. If it was really that different, if there was really this opposite view of the world, then I would not be able to connect. But the fact that what we care about every day is so similar, then that connection's happening, it's powerful. And I think with the whole visa extension too, that's gonna get even better, because people will have even longer of a time to visit with each other and learn about each other's cultures. I think it's a positive development. Any questions?
More questions or comments?
Question in the back first. I think I saw her hand first, and then no, she's got it, Mike. It's okay.
Well, I'm a student in high school. I'm learning Chinese still. So my biggest difficulty is applying myself. So my question to you is, how did you find that medium where you were able to get over the whole barrier and just apply yourself and feel comfortable with making mistakes and everything?
I think I instantly thought of that, feeling comfortable making mistakes. As I said, I was the worst student in my class for a very long time. And I had to be okay with not sounding so smart, but still working really hard. And I think when you have these milestones and goals that you set for yourself to learn this set of characters and to learn how to talk about this, then that's a personal record. I'm a runner too. You know all about PR, personal record. You can't compare to whoever ran that race. Only your outcome is what you have to base your progress on. So I think setting those mini goals for yourself, and it might be above what other students in your class are working on, or might be a little bit below, but you've got to have that confidence there, and you'll get it for sure. 加油. And then watch Crazy Fresh Chinese. We had a question here, and we'll get you.
So I was just wondering, so sort of just go along with what he said before, that you said you sort of figure out your way of doing that, but how did you actually figure out your way, and how did you find it was a successful way relative to other people who are running similar programs?
I didn't worry about who's doing something already. I wanted to do something with my personal touch to it. I also found a void in the market. I really had not seen anything like this before. If I had a Chinese teaching program to watch when I was studying Chinese, it would have been so much more fun. And the same with English. And a lot of the language I saw, you know, all these language teaching videos on YouTube are so boring and they're so long and they're so silly. And I wanted to make something that related to the current energy and attitude of young people and what they really want to learn how to say. So I established what our goal was and what our objective was, and I established how to achieve that day by day. And just, there have definitely been critics and people along the way, but you kind of just stick to it because you have to. We had a question back there, and I got you.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I want to express my gratitude for you, because 3 years ago when you started with your video blog, I met this wonderful lady in the bus stop, which I started a conversation with by your video blog, wonderful, and she now is my girlfriend. So thank you very much for that.
Hey, round of applause. Good job.
So,
OMG Meiyu, love connection.
Thanks.
I should start a dating site. That'd be such a good idea. Okay, go ahead, please.
Thanks. So you just introduced that there is obviously a growing trend, a growing interest of American culture, American language in China, but at the same time there is another another trend in China which is also very visible in China, especially in recent years, which is kind of nationalist, kind of some kind of hostile against American values, American so on and so forth systems, so on and so forth. And one of the example would be the CNBC's headline, which says the Chinese president's favorite blogger hates America. Only recently came out. So, well, these two conflicting trends are not necessarily mutually exclusive. They could be well presented within one person, one individual. So when you were interacting with American people, Chinese people, those normal folks, grassroots people, have you felt this conflicting trend, conflicting sentiment? And what's your take on that?
I've had a lot of friends send me that article, and they're curious about, is this what you experience when you're online and when you meet all these fans that you go visit in Beijing and Hunan and all the places you visited recently? And I say, absolutely not. I never have. I'm sure you've all seen YouTube video comment section, and it is like the most negative thing you've ever read in your life. It's everybody's stupid and you're so bad at what you do. The exact opposite happens on Sina Weibo. Everyone's like, Beinecke, thank you for helping me learn English. Beinecke, you know, you've provided so many wonderful conversational opportunities that have affected my life positively. They give lots of jiayo and encouragement in the comments of Weibo, and I rarely see anything that is negative. That perhaps might be a cultural thing. They have the opportunity to voice, you know, their disapproval of a program, but that doesn't happen. You know, I always talk about how much love I feel on Sina Weibo, and I have this feeling now of responsibility to all these people who look to the program to learn English and to learn about culture because they're curious and because they are hoping to gain knowledge and communication. I think that's great. I haven't witnessed it. One more question. We have right here.
Well, thank you for coming, and it's very, very interesting. I grew up actually listening to Voice America, and used to especially enjoy the program presented by Wood Guthrie, and it's really from a very different generation, indeed. But it's in that context, of course, the Voice of America itself is also evolving. It has multiple platforms and so on. Can you comment a little broadly in terms of your program, how it fits into the Voice of America, and in terms of also this truly bilateral communications and some of the challenges in that regard?
Initially, as I mentioned, it was a bit of a risk because it hadn't been done before. Programming, teaching English, being hosted in Chinese on Chinese social media. How is it going to go? You want to get 100,000 followers in a year? How the heck you're going to do that from DC? You know, it happened in 2 weeks. And just, I think all the language, I'm quoting the president of Voice of America, David Enzer, who's been a big supporter of OMG Meiyu. And he said that their goal is to go to each language service within the Voice of America and see what they can do to further engage with the young people in those communities and perhaps offer the similar types of online social media language learning programming. So it's been a positive development because it's opened up opportunities as to how to use social media. Voice of America has come out with a lot of really fun new ways of doing that in the recent future. I live in New York and I don't interface with them very often. I'm just glad that they still like OMG Meiyu. It's been 3 years and it's still growing, so we're very lucky. And so thank you all for having me and coming up with fun blog ideas and asking great questions. I really appreciate it. Please check out Crazy Fresh. And yeah, thanks so much. Thank you.